This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana makes car selling fast and easy from start to finish. Enter your license plate or VIN and get a real offer in seconds, down to the penny. If you accept, Carvana will come pick up your car from your driveway. Or you can drop it off at one of our car vending machines. Either way, you get paid instantly. It's fast, transparent, and 100% online. Car selling that saves your time. That's Carvana.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kan du norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify, spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Hey, it's Stephen Rothberg, one of your two co-hosts. I am the founder and chief visionary officer of College Recruiter Job Site. We believe that every student and recent grad deserves a great career, and it should be easy and inexpensive for employers to hire them. This is a special episode of the High Volume Hiring Podcast. I think it's number 46 or 47, something like that. And I am joined today and have been the last couple episodes by my new co-host, Jeanette Leeds of AMS. Jeanette, I'm not going to steal your thunder, but for the benefit of the listeners, I think our paths first ran across each other 14, 15 years ago, kind of 08, 09. Kind of era. I think you were 6 years old. I was probably like 10 years old, or however different we are. But why don't you tell the listeners like a little bit about your background, before 08, 09 if you want, but definitely like since then, because I think they're going to be, for those who don't know you, they're going to love you even more. And and B, they're going to be like, okay, now I see why he's excited to have her as a co-host.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, Stephen. Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. I think it was like 07, 08, and I think when we actually first connected, I had made the switch over from a practitioner over to a tech, to like the world of tech as a vendor. And LinkedIn, magically connected us. So
yay!
It was that I think there was a message where it's like my LinkedIn spies suggested it's so bizarre. I remember that 10 years later.
If you know these 47 people, you might
know exactly.
Also.
You should. You gotta love automation and AI before that was even a thing.
You mean there's not somebody in Mountain View in the LinkedIn corporate office who's like, wow, okay, nice.
Buzzwords that were actually happening before people were talking about them. So let's say, okay, so prior to that, for many years, I actually was a practitioner. I worked on Wall Street, cut my teeth at Lehman Brothers, in, for the most part, campus recruiting roles. So started off as a campus recruiter, going to hire MBA, investment bankers, and so I did that for a number of years, worked my way up from, literally recruiter up to the point when Lehman went under and all of that drama. That's a story for another day, where I was...
Not your fault.
Not my fault. I actually even have a trophy. You guys can see it on screen. That this literally says the 2001-2002 recruiting team trophy from my days at Lehman. That again, another story for how I have that. And I always, so practitioner, and I was in regional and global roles, always was super interested in tech. So I ended up, after Lehman was no longer, ended up as the COO of campus recruiting for Credit Suisse.
Okay.
And so really, and that was a global role, I don't remember back then how many, people I had on the team globally, but hiring, I think at the time globally like 5,000 hires, and really responsible for all those interns, full-time analysts, associate, all that entry-level hiring globally.
And highly skilled, really specific, right? This is not like, do you have a pulse? Are you currently incarcerated? I mean, basic,
what we would say today, like a a white glove process, right? Like really, I mean, listen, hiring is always highly competitive. This is just in a different way. You could fill those hires over and over. And I always used to joke whether I was at Lehman or when I was at Credit Suisse, like who were my big competitors. And it was interesting because that changed over the years, right? So it used to be it was Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, who ultimately became my customers when I made the switch. But as things started to change, it really became some of the tech companies. No one wanted to go to Wall Street, right? Like, and that's still to this day. So very interesting from a, really sitting in the shoes. It really was for many years. And I made then this switch. And this is when we started to come to, and connect and this is just that from a career standpoint of like, hey, time for a change. And as just, working mom, okay, I had 2 kids. And so, because I wasn't really 6 years old when we met, and how do I sort of make things work, right? Like, how do I have a big job career, but also, do something different? So I actually ended up going to my tech vendor. And that's when we first joined.
And was that
courses?
I think that at the time, I think that was with WCN.
It was WCN, which is
and remind me, what is WCN? What's that acronym? What is that? What is it?
So originally, WCN stood for World Careers Network because that was the company, but then just went by the acronym, and literally everyone in the U.S. thought it was a radio station. So,
and then while you were there, and you must have been part of this, it changed its name.
Yes, the name was changed from WCN to Olio. I was actually the first employee in the U.S. for WCN for Olio, with the idea of like, hey, I had been working with the technology, which is typical in ATS, CRM, events management, focused not just on campus, but really that high volume, right? That repeatable roles, right? And we all know in my view, whether you have to hire someone or a whole group of 4,000, 10,000, 100 people, but if they have that same profile over and over, that's what that tech was really designed to do. So at first it was let's be campus and think about that in the US, and expanded out to the holistic, all kinds of hiring. But again, with the core focus of this repeatable high volume roles.
Right. And so flash forward a little bit. You're at AMS, the artist formerly known as Alexander Mann Solutions.
Yes.
I know, but for the benefit of those who might not, and you better, what is AMS, and what, tell us a little bit about the group that you lead.
Yes.
Because
so
then I think any viewer who's still not like already totally convinced, oh yeah, that she's like totally makes sense for her to be co-host, they're about to have like a massive light bulb go on.
Yeah. So AMS is also an acronym. Used to stand for Alexander Mann Solution, does not any longer. So there's something about me with acronyms. AMS at its core is an RPO service provider. That's the core focus business. Now people are like, wait, what's RPO? Again, what's somehow love acronyms. So, recruitment.
It's like the US government.
So, which, some people are like, but at its core, it's really, hey, we know from a service standpoint, we do this. We, become big enterprise companies.
Finding a great career has always been a challenge. But today, with the massive changes underway in just about every sector of the economy, in just about every country in the world, finding a great new career is even more challenging. And if you're a student, recent graduate, or someone else early in their career, it's even harder for you because you just don't have the experience that those who might be 10, 20, 30 years older than you have. The answer? The podcast. From dorms to desks. A podcast by College Recruiter job search site, where every week we take a deep dive into a topic specifically of interest to candidates who are early in their careers and looking for a great part-time, seasonal, internship, or other entry-level job.
Recruiting teams. And so we run we're the people, we're the process, and then we'll bring the tech, and we have a whole advisory business, but it's like, hey, we are this experts, true experts in this area focus on, it's funny enough, a big part is campus, right? That piece we'll do.
Sure.
What I do is focus on our high volume practice. And so that's very much, and also, so I sort of wear two hats, which I think I've, shared before, is I run
Two hats plus the crown
puts the
behind
crown.
you.
Exactly. Why not? So I run our proprietary tech, which we own and develop, which is hourly by AMS. And so that focuses literally on quickly engaging and hiring high volume hourly workers, whether we call that scale, frontline. I mean, there's so many names, right, for these types
Yeah.
of hires, but literally focusing on that. But here's the interesting thing, and this is what I love being at AMS, and I think given my background is, first I was a practitioner, right? Like brand
Yeah.
stuff. Then I was running, tech as pure tech, right? For, again, TA tech, high volume. Now what I'm doing is taking the tech, but combining it in with the services. And this is what I love, because you can have great tech, but if it's not set up in the right way, or you have bad process, because we know we all have bad process, right, at times, or the people haven't adopted it, or like it's not going to work. Or you can have a great process, but maybe your people need to, you need to upskill or whatnot. And so what I love is we sort of take these three-legged stool, whatever we want, and combine it all in. And that's what we'll bring to our customers. So it's a real holistic solution. So it's not like, okay, this is high volume RPO. Hey, this is, a high volume tech product. Hey, this is, advisory process, like, which we can do. And we have customers who use each piece separately, but together, that's what I love. And I think is so cool, seeing the outcomes there, because in the end, we become our customers, right? And we have to make sure, hey, we got to get those hires in. Like, we got to make sure that there's baggage handlers, that are going to put your bags on an airplane, right? Otherwise you're not getting your bag. And so it's that whole combination of it is really, I love that. So
Yeah. Well, and I'd actually be okay at times not getting my bag because I have a really great travel insurance policy through Allianz. It's fantastic. It's
carry your
like
bag on, you don't.
it's like $700 a year, and it's like if there's a hiccup, they pay for everything. So my wife would definitely be very happy if my clothes were to be lost.
Yeah.
And so then I could actually get new clothes where she'd have
You can buy
influence over them.
something, so you're like, okay, hopefully you're not in pleated pants or shorts, and that like pleats are out. Or maybe they're coming back.
that's way too fashionable for me. But anyway,
maybe they're coming back. I don't know. Everything that's old is in now. So 80s, 90s.
So College Recruiter is one of AMS's partners. I think was earlier this year. In the summertime, we signed that. And my understanding is, and I think you were kind of alluding to it a second ago, that there are like sort of different groups or teams. You mentioned like early careers.
Yes.
So I think that's Steve Tufekchev leads that area. The advisory group, that's Jonathan Kestenbaum.
So Jonathan Kestenbaum is focused on all of our tech strategy and partnerships. And just, what's amazing to me is that AMS actually has 10,000 employees globally. Like, we're really big. And it's just always, I didn't even realize when I first joined, I don't know, a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, how big. So there's so many different areas. We have this incredible branding group, like employer branding group, that literally is almost like this super creative agency. So we'll work with employers on all their creative around their brands, and that's under our advisory. We have there's just like so much that we do.
Oh, I'm so glad you said this.
Talent skilling and a talent lab. I mean, they're like, I could go on and on.
Yeah, it's like you're like a kid in a candy store. I'm glad that you mentioned the branding piece. That wasn't something that I had known. I'm learning like new things. With 10,000 employees, nobody's going to know everything that everybody does, even somebody in the organization. But it's interesting because most of our customers are advertising jobs with us. Pay-per-click, pay-per-application, programmatic, early career, global. We're starting to get requests by some of those customers. It's like, can you help us with branding stuff? Can you help us with TikTok? Can you, they can create a video and they can upload a video, but do it so that it works, and it's, and they're largely TA leaders are, I think, a heck of a lot more sophisticated than they were 10, 20 years ago with branding, using data to drive their decisions way more than they used to. Thank goodness, because then it allows vendors, their employees, whatever, to really make better use of their resources, and to like produce. But we're getting some customers like, okay, the postings are fine, that hits candidates who are relatively active. How do you help us reach the other 85%? And in the hourly group, I'm assuming you probably have clients who have that, right? It's like, hey, if somebody goes online and they're searching for package handler, they're going to find those postings, whether it's on Indeed or LinkedIn or College Recruiter or ZipRecruiter or whatever, the ATS, great. Yeah. But what about the people who are more or less happily employed, but might be open to switching? Does your group then sort of partner with or collaborate with that branding group? Is that how that works?
Absolutely. And so it becomes like, and this is where it's a very matrixed organization where there's like groups that specialize, in branding, but then some of them will be, focused on, let's partner together, and they'll have vast experience in the high volume hourly world. Right. And so we figure out that we have a sourcing team, which, sourcing, attraction, again, there's all these different words, but there's a piece where, hey, some of this can't be tech led because there is an element, right? And this is crazy, right? Because at heart, like, I'm a tech gal, like this is like where my passion is, but some of it can't be, right? So you need to have, talent scouts go out into the market and do like boots on the ground, right? Because a lot of this is also done face to face. People want to see, do I like the look of this store? Is this a restaurant? Do I want to be a server there or a bartender? Am I going to make enough tips? Like, what's the deal? Is this going to be a good working environment in the warehouse? And so it's this interesting combination of online, tech, digital automation, all of that, the right branding, the right messaging, and the personas around that. But again, there's that in person as well. And a lot of it also is, hey, how far is my commute? How far would my commute be to get to that warehouse or to get to that store or get to that airport, right? If it's going to be too long, and then flexibility. So it's this nice, interesting combination, which just makes it, listen, it doesn't make it easy, right? This is hard. This is tricky. And every organization has their own unique challenges, and also it makes them special as well. And so it's trying to harness that and figure out what works and in what way for each, because it's different. So yeah. Well, if it was easy, it'd be boring too. So exactly.
Jeanette, this has been fantastic. Any closing words? I'll put your caption back up.
Oh, yes.
And so people can know how to reach out to you.
Awesome. Yeah, reach out to me. Listen, I think everyone knows, hopefully by now, I love talking high volume, we're doing all sorts of interesting things at AMS. If it can be helpful, great. If we just want to talk, I know a lot of people are going to the HR Tech Conference, which is in not next week, the following week. 2 weeks. So in Vegas, if you're going to Vegas, I'm going to be there.
Oh, are you?
I am. I know. Okay. Steven, I don't think you are.
I'm not. Somebody else from College Recruiter almost certainly is.
Yeah.
And so I will definitely let them know. I'm going to be at the Job Boards Connect annual conference in London. And London, England, not London, Ontario, where I have family.
Oh.
My family says it's the real London. My family is stupid in that respect.
They're biased in that way.
They're kidding.
And I'm also going to be at LinkedIn Connect next week in New York. So if anyone's around, I love talking about this stuff, and it just, whether we just talk shop or if there's something we can, AMS can help with, you can find me on LinkedIn or wherever. So.
The passion is evident. Awesome. Yeah. Next, you and I will connect up in 2 weeks for the next episode.
I think I'll be doing that one from Vegas, and hopefully this time I won't have lost my voice like I did when we did our last one at
Wreck.
Wreckfest. So it's been a busy fall,
Yes.
but it's fun time too.
Yes. Losing one's voice when you're on a podcast is problematic.
Awesome.
All right. Well, cheers.
Yes,
This has been
thanks,
great as
everyone.
always.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Jeanette.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock has tips to protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report phishing, and update the software on your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, let LifeLock alert you to suspicious uses of your personal information. LifeLock also fixes identity theft, guaranteed or your money back. Stay smart, safe, and protected with a 30-day free trial at lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.